So I asked ChatGPT what would happen if I keep saying I want to get in shape, but keep ignoring my nutrition. And it completely roasted me. So after being completely roasted by ChatGPT, I decided in that moment that it was time to make a change. I decided to recommit to my goals, lose body fat, rebuild discipline, and get back to the best version of myself. But before I get into what ChatGPT exactly told me, let's take it back a bit. So back in 2015, I wasn't feeling so good in my skin. I was dating a person who was completely crazy about fitness, and I never understood why someone would see that as fun to put themselves through a gruesome workout and feel good about it. But I knew, because I wasn't feeling happy in my skin, I had to try something different. So that was the first time I actually experienced working out. Mind you, I never went to a gym. We worked out at home with light dumbbells because that was the only thing I was able to lift back then. She was cooking healthy, something different from what I used to know. At first, I totally disliked it, but I decided to just join her and see what it can do for me. For some reason, I started to like it, and the changes started to happen. The only thing is, I wasn't noticing it until once I was outside and I bumped into an old friend of mine, and she told me that she really saw a different version of me. And that's when I knew that this was actually working. The only mistake I made though, I never took a lot of pictures. Back in the day, I didn't have like a decent cell phone, so that's the only regret I have, not taking pictures so I can show you and compare to where I started and where I am now. Anyway, before I knew it, I was in the best shape of my life. Fast forward, a couple of years later, I was still working out, but not as serious as I used to. And to make it a little bit worse, in 2022, I started having this weird foot pain that put me in a position where I was afraid to work out, not to damage anything that was going on, because I didn't know exactly what was happening. And to be honest, I still don't know exactly what's happening. But at one point, I got so fed up with the pain that I started saying to myself that I work so hard to be healthy, and apparently my body is not cooperating, so why should I even keep trying? Slowly but surely, unfortunately, I built this different identity that apparently I'm not worthy of being healthy. And that resulted in me binging again in foods that I know are not the best options. It also resulted in me not tracking my calories like I used to, something that used to help me a lot in the past, being in control of what you eat and being aware of what you eat. I gained about 8 kgs, something that I regret so much because I knew in what shape I used to be. So one morning, I got so sick and tired of feeling the way I'm feeling that I decided to ask ChatGPT for help. And this is the exact question I asked it. If I keep doing what I'm doing today, how will my life look? And I had to be specific, especially when it comes to the fitness and nutrition part. So its response was brutal, but exactly what I needed to hear. It said something along the lines of, you will likely stay in a cycle of semi-discipline, some workouts and some skip days and maybe minor progress. You'll feel flashes of motivation, but also resentment toward yourself, your pace, and the disconnect between what you know you could be doing and what you're actually doing. According to Dan Coe, by the way, that is an anti-vision. Basically what you don't want to achieve in life. And that was only the physical part, by the way. Well, I have to say that moment was a wake-up call. And I realized I had the power to take control again. And that's exactly what I did. Not for anyone else, but for myself, my health, and my confidence. I decided that it was time to start rebuilding the habits that got me in the best shape before. Meaning, starting with quitting alcohol. Not that I'm drinking a lot, but I know that we don't actually need alcohol. So I made a promise to myself that for the coming 12 months, I will not drink 1 drop of alcohol. And I'm saying 12 months because saying never again will make it feel like a complete, ultimate forbidden fruit. And we all know what happened to Adam and Eve. So I downloaded a habit tracker on my phone. It's called Habit Now, all for free. So if you're interested, download it. And basically I added about 5 to 6 habits that I'm going to be working on for at least 6 months. So those habits are working out 3 times a week, meaning lifting weights, drinking at least 1.5 liters of water, stretching, mobility, and food rehab exercises. Also doing meditation at least 5 minutes a day and focusing on getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And of course, like I mentioned, not drinking alcohol. And another one is a maximum of 2 snacks per week, unhealthy snacks, that is. Every 2 weeks, I will be taking a progress photo to track my physical progress. And not only that, I also am going to weigh myself so I can properly track my macros. Of course, with the help of ChatGPT, I can do it from the top of my head, but why make it difficult if we can make it as easy as possible, right? So I will be tracking my macros and, of course, before tracking them, calculate them. I'll make a different video about how to calculate your macros and also where you can track it. So yeah, basically that's the plan. I don't know exactly where this is going to take me, but all I know is that where I'm at now, it can only go up from here. And in order for me to see a difference, I have to start making positive changes. So if you want to see what happens next, or maybe you're on your self-improvement journey too, come along for the ride.